effects over here on MyMegoLike. All right, so welcome, one and all. Today we're going to talk a little bit about uh, Mattel's Big Jim's counterpart in Mexico, made by Cipsa, called Kid Acero. And as you can see from the description, Kid Acero literally translates to Kid Steel. Kid Acero was the Cipsa's version of Big Jim. Very similar. There's some paint color differences and so on. Probably one of the most obvious obvious things besides the colors, the markings on the back. The back of a typical Big Jim would say Mattel, made in Hong Kong. These, I'm not going to see them in here because I'm not going to be able to get it with one hand, but these are marked made in Mexico. And these are made by Cipsa, who also made some other action figures you might be familiar with. They did some, some Planet of the Apes figures from Mego, again made by Cipsa. The uniforms were a little different. The one thing that I really like about the Cipsa figures is the variety of characters they had. So here, this is an actual Cipsa Kid Acero, aka in English, Big Jim figure. Oops, his foot's backwards. And you can see he has his practice bamboo stick, if you will. I can't remember what it's called. His kendo stick. He's got this is to wrap around his bicep because they've got the muscle action. And of course, he has his chopping board. This one's a little bit loose, so he isn't a doll stand, and it took me a while to get him. But he is the Mexican version. He looks pretty similar. Like I said, the color was kind of a giveaway when I first saw it. But let's check out some other stuff. So these are two excellent examples of L'Hombre Bionico and L'Hombre Invisible. So the Bionic Man and the Invisible Man, or the Man of Bionics and the Man of Invisibility. So this is a really great example. These came in several flavors. Now, before I even get started on this, I'm going to thank a couple of people, and if I miss anyone, I apologize. I usually start doing these right as I come off from work, and it's in between my daughter, who's autistic, doing her activity, so I don't get a whole lot of time to prepare. But to Gerardo Ortega, who is an excellent source of information, also has led me to find these figures and helped me a lot. And to my new friend, Alan Zama, who actually I was able to purchase them from, and I have a box from him over here that we're going to open a little bit. I wanted to kind of give you guys a little bit. Well, first of all, I bought it, and the outfit was on backwards. Come to find out that it was on the other way, so we fixed that. Gerardo makes these repro, the plutonium canisters, which are clearly always lost. They're magnetic. He even makes it so that there's a magnet for them. What is up, Brian Sanchez? You lucky bastard. You lucky bastard. It's Brian Sanchez, a lucky bastard. And you can see it's got this really nice magnetic set to it. By the way, if you're looking for these or you're looking to buy some, he makes them in multiple colors. So that's Gerardo Ortega. I'll tag him down here in the notes afterwards once this uploads. Sometimes it takes forever for YouTube to finish. But it's a really cool example. He has been cleaned a little bit. You could tell the rubber on his arms is pretty clean. He wasn't in bad shape to begin with, but I cleaned him up a little bit. He's basically got the big Jeff head. The color of the hairs, I don't know what color that is. It's, oops, and as he falls down, right out of the doll stand, ladies and gentlemen, fantastic. He's got this, I don't know, it's almost like grayish hair. It's not gray, it's supposed to be some kind of blonde. But if you take a look, they've got these really cool see-through arm here with the bionics inside. There's no removable bionics like the $6 million man. I'm just going to turn this down for a minute. Let's see if we can do this without dropping. So there's no removable bionics, but he does have this very cool see-through arm. Now, you're going to see in a moment that this was not the only variety that they made. And again, thanks to Gerardo for helping me out, and other people on the net like Alan and so on, and helping me get some information and gather them, because these guys truly are experts and wonderful collectors and very nice people. Lucky Louie, thank you, Sanchez. But they made them not only with one arm, but there's also another version with two arms, and we're going to look at that in a minute. Moving over slightly over, what you're going to see is L'Hombre Invisible. As you can see, he's got a clear body, good suit. This one particularly had the white gloves and the white sneakers. Now, what Gerardo told me when I got it and showed it to him, he said, don't put the shoes and the gloves on for a long time. He said, you can put them on, take a picture, but take them off. because the rubber and the plastic, they start to have a chemical reaction. He said, only on this figure. Maybe it's something in the clear plastic. But the neat thing about these heads, although usually they kind of harden over time, they're squishy. Even this one's squishy. And you could say it's the same Big Jeff head as the other one. However, the paint job's different. He's got some spots. I am not going to be touching him up anytime soon. But the heads were squishy, unlike most Big Jim heads, which were a little bit tougher. And then that way you could easily pull off the invisible head and put on the painted version. Now, he also came in 2 versions. The other version is actually the harder one to find. And the harder one, instead of the Big Jeff head, he's actually got the Big Jim head, or in this case, it's Kid Acero, because it's not Big Jim in the Mexican version, but it's Kid Acero. But for the rest of us in America or Europe that know him as Big Jim, there you go. Now, I just wanted to point out, this is actually, just so you could see, Mattel made in Hong Kong. But I wanted to show these hands. So these hands were kind of I guess they were the European hands, if you will. They became like a kung fu grip, if you will. So the European figures will have these grip hands on them, which I actually prefer over these kind of flat hands, if you will. But, you know, no disrespect intended. They're just kind of cool. This happened just to be one of my favorite figures. This one, you press him, and of course he lights up, and then there's a button that lifts his face, and you can, this is, who is this, Brian? It's Captain Laser, I think it is. And there you go. And he just has a light bulb inside, AA battery in the back. This one's a little loose. So I just wanted to kind of give you an idea for the hands. All right. So now what we're going to do is open what's in the box, because this squishy, hey, that's what she said. This I've been waiting for. And Alan, who sold me this Invisible Man figure, who I met through Gerardo, who gave me this plutonium that he redid. Gotta say thank you so much, Alan. Muchas gracias por todo. Me encantas esta figuras de acción. Son increíbles. So I'm going to show you guys what else is here and what I did get from Alan. He's a great guy, super great guy. And, oh, there's some extra. Oh, I forgot about the extra. Oh, Sanchez, you got to see this. This is so cool. You're gonna lose your shit when you see this. All right, so let's check this out. So, again, primero, muchas gracias, Alan. And muchas gracias a Gerardo, because Gerardo put me in touch with him and so on. All right, so we're going to open these up. So the first one I'm going to show you is the Bionic Man. Okay, now remember, he's got one arm here. Let's take a look at this one. I don't know what the rarity or the commonality is of it, or how common it is. And Gerardo, I'm going to wind up asking him, why I can be depressed more. You're such an idiot, Sanchez. Sometimes I swear you're such an idiot. So, just ridiculous. So I got to ask Gerardo so he can give me some more. But what I love about this, if you take a look, notice he's got the 2 see-through arms of Bionic. I'll give him a little bit of a cleaning at some point. And you can see he's got the magnet, which is to hold the plutonium. Let's see if I think it'll do it. Yeah, so check this out. This is actually interesting. So when Gerardo sent me this plutonium, he said, hey man, he said, make sure I'm not going to put the magnet on, or the metal on for the magnet, until you check it. He said, because you can have this. So if you look, this figure is actually pushing it away. The magnetism is in reverse as opposed to this one. So I guess they didn't really, worry about which way the magnets went. They just went on. But in any case, see, this one's even reverse, Gerardo, which is interesting because I thought this is the way it went. And this is the second one I got that it's in this order. But he did show me a picture from a magazine where this is in the front. So I guess we'll change that around. So we'll clean him up a little bit. He's not bad. But he's got the 2, what I love, he's got these 2 see-through arms. He's got these see-through arms, and you can just see the, quote-unquote bionics inside. And they're a little rubbery, if you will. And then, of course, he's got the Big Jeff head. So pretty cool, right? Now, one thing that I will thank my good friend Buck, or J.S. Starbuck, is that if you have trouble getting these plastic and rubber pieces on off the feet and so on, you can boil them. You take a microwave, Put hot water in it in a cup for 30 seconds, and you can drop it in, and it'll loosen up nice. Sanchez, don't go anywhere, because even though you're going to love the Invisible Man, wait till I show you the other thing that he sent me, which was really nice. And so he sent me, I'll show it to you in a second. So this is the other figure I bought from him. I am not going to lie. Buying these figures in the United States outside of someone from Mexico has been extremely, extremely difficult, and I find them to be costly. Brian Sanchez and I have had multiple conversations about these figures and the cost, and how do these people charge so much, and so they are difficult to get at an affordable price unless you're rich. So I didn't. So Alan was incredibly reasonable with me, and he's been so good and so trustworthy. And I know people sometimes, it's tough to, you're buying from sellers in another country. It's tough. Are you going to get your money? There's not much recourse. I even had a not an intentional thing with anyone. I was actually trying to buy a figure, and Western Union jacked it up, and then I just lost the money. There's nothing I could do, and it sucked. There's like, well, we passed it off to someone else, so too bad. And I'm like, all right, well, it's the last time I'll ever use Western Union. So let me go on record and say, don't use Western Union. They're a bunch of dickbags. They even work at the executive office. Okay, so this guy, he's a little bit more worn out, but I want to show you what we have here, okay? So check this out. This is also the Invisible Man. Now check out his arms, right? They've got the kind of rubbery see-through, very much like the Bionic Man one. He's got this clear body. This is the Big J. He's got some paint missing, but I don't even care. This is the Big Jim head as opposed to the Big Jeff head. And from my understanding, talking with guys like Dan Samillo, Gerardo, and a few other people who are collectors, is that this is probably one of the more difficult figures to acquire. I don't know if they just made less. I'm not sure. But this is an all original. Yes, they all have the chopping action. I forgot to point that out. They have the chopping action. And if we look in here, down here, I think we could see it says made in Mexico. It's probably hard to see with the clear, but made in Mexico. Now, let me show you the rest of them. He did have his white gloves, okay, just like the other one. I think there was a version where he had black gloves and black sneakers. I forget. I have to talk to Dan Smiller and ask him. He does come with these purple pants, which is interesting. I don't know if that was the original color, or look, these were, I could see because some of the stuff's pulling away. Sorry, I show you. So they had the purple pants, of course. Then it had the purple shirt, or maybe the color just faded over time. So it looks like it might have been dyed and so on, but it's definitely not the blue that we see in this guy over here. And then finally, we actually have the clear Big Jim head. You want to be careful because they're typically squishy, but they do get to harden over time. You have to be careful. Sometimes these crack, they break, they're lost. I mean, it's very easy. You'll find sometimes these figures usually with the invisible head. I guess kids would put the Invisible Man head on, and then they would lose the other one. It's just a head. You're a kid. What are you doing? So I thought that was pretty cool. Now, this is a very, very cool figure. They're all very cool figures, forgive me. And I really love this variety of figures that come from Mexico. I think it's really cool that you have these other countries that made these things. And I would have never known about these as a kid because I never went to Mexico when I was a kid and I didn't know anything. But you can see the differences in the arms, even some of the color differences and so on, which I think is pretty cool. All right, now I'm going to show you something that I have never seen before until Alan showed it to me. Sanchez, you're going to love this. You really are. You're going to love this. Famous last words. But he had a few of these, and they were in different colors and like all mixed up. And he said, pick one. I was like, pick one. He goes, just pick one. So he was very kind. So he gave me one of these. I'm going to show it to you. In exchange, I sent him some Fighting Furies figures because he actually has a Fighting Furies Ghost of Captain Kidd, but he never saw the Pirates. I said, let me send you the Pirates, the Ghost of Captain Kidd. You all know it's that guy right there. He glows in the dark as a skeleton. So I sent him a Captain Hook, and I sent him a Captain Peg-Leg. And I put those in the mail, and I hope he got them because I'm not sure if you received them yet. It does take a while to go back and forth. But where do you see this shit? Now, being someone who collects a lot of junky knockoffs and crap that nobody else wants, this is something cool, and I just fell in love with this when I saw this. Can you see this, Sanchez? Look at this. This, this is a knockoff of Kid Acero. I mean, you can just see, look, the head's like an eraser. It's literally like an eraser. It's the same. So it's got the, Christ, what's his name, Sanchez, in the Big Gym? How many Ghosts of Captive Kids do I have? I think I have 18 or 19 now, I think, Sanchez. Or maybe 20. The goal was to get 20. I think I'm at 18 or 19. No, I think I'm at 18, and the goal is to get 20. But it's like, it's made out of the same material, like an eraser. The arms, squishy like an eraser. Torpedo fist, thank you. Hands plastic, body's plastic. Look, just look at this. They put the hook on, which is plastic. And this looks like, this is cast because you could see the casting lines on it. Obviously, there's no button function on it, but you could see the outprint of the button where they cast the original Big Jim. What's it say here? Yeah, this actually, they cast out a Cipsa one because it's got Mexico, made in Mexico, even though this is not, this is made in Mexico as a bootleg. The legs are plastic, but look what they did here. They even put screws, through the legs. Like, very surprised. Oh, there's your band. There's a band in there. I don't want to pull too hard, but very surprised at the thing even stays together. And yes, I know it's a cheap version of one of these, but come on. Tell me that is not fucking crazy cool. Just this, it's like this homemade action figure. And he had a few of these. I've never seen them before. He offered me one. I said, wow, man, oh, yeah, how much do you want for it? He's like, no, I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you. I was like, okay, thank you. I was like, and he did, and very, very kind of him. And so on, but I thought that was just something you don't see every day. Just this crazy rubber-headed, look his head. You can see it just pops on over there. It's rubber-headed, rubber-armed bootleg. I mean, that is a bootleg. That is no knockoff. That is 100% a bootleg. Literally molded from a Cipsa figure and then recreated as this interesting toy. He'll definitely be up on the shelf. But I just thought that was absolutely just wild. And it's heavy. I'm not going to lie to you. It's heavy. There's some weight to it. But I don't know if he's going to stand on his own. Curious. I don't want to stand. I don't think he'll break because he's mostly rubber. Well, and actually, he's mostly molded plastic with rubber. But very, very cool. There we go. Let's see if we can get him to stand without. And there he goes right down as soon as I move away. So there you go. So there you have it. This is a bootleg figure of Torpedo Fist, but he would be the Mexican version. I forgot what the... Sanchez, do you remember what the Mexican version of the Torpedo Fist was? I can't remember what his name is off the top of my head. And I am not the Big Jim expert like many of these guys. Brian, Danny Gates, Gerardo, they know way more about Big Jim than I do. Way more. I mean, I had him as a kid. Basically, when my sister got something in Barbie, I got the Big Jim version. She got the Barbie United Airlines Friendship plane. I got the Big Jim plane, the Sky Command, so on for Christmas. But again, some really cool stuff we got. So we've got the single arm and the double arm Bionic Man, which I thought was really cool. We also have the Invisible Man as the Big Jeff, and we have the Invisible Man as Kid Acero. I don't want to say Big Jeff, but as Big Jim or / Kid Acero. And I just think they're really, really cool. Arms on this are rubber. The rest is the hard plastic. Again, he does his chopping action. Head squishy. I do not even want to touch the head. And I won't touch them up. You could touch them up and make them look good, but I won't touch them up. I leave them as is. Some kid left them this way, and that's the way he is. I'm not going to be washing these heads. Not at all, because the paint, risk of paint coming off. But I'll probably wash the gloves. You know, clean those up just a little bit, if you will. I did on the other ones, and it comes out pretty nice. And maybe this one, too. These outfits, I'm terrified to actually put through any kind of wash. Sometimes, like, because I'm worried about the threads will just dissolve. I did one once, and the threads just dissolved on the suit. So if you're going to do it, my suggestion would be cold water, maybe a little bit of dish soap, and just kind of wash that, although it's in pretty good shape. And then go ahead and I can wash those boots off. But there you have it. Growing and expanding the Big Jim, or I should say the Kid Acero collection by Cipsa. And I thought they were great. Got a little walkover. We can do a little walkover. The room's a bit of a mess. So I really want to show you guys what's on the floor because it's a mess right now if you haven't seen it already. Got a little more Big Jim stuff over here. There's our beast. Was that the camper? I forgot what you call it, Sanchez. So here's who the Hombre Invisible and Hombre Bionico is. They're molded after the Big Jim head. Incidentally, for you guys that have this camper thing, thanks to Danny Gates, show me what that plastic piece is that nobody knows what it is, hangs off the back. It's to pull the motorcycle. We've got the Tarzan figure from Mattel, Tiger and so on. Got some other pieces in here, and rescue rig and so on. And then really, my Big Jim collection is very modest, very modest. We get some more figures in here, so put some light on, probably a little better. Oops. There we go. So I actually have one of these backpacks talks in German, which I love. I got the English and the German version. We got some of the Secret Agent ones from Europe, some of the box figures, some Carl May. We have Congos, which did some Big Jim figures in Spain. They went under the company of Congos, just like they did Cipsa in Mexico. Cool Big Jim puzzle. Very, very cool. Got a helicopter up here. It's missing the camera in the front. It's a knockoff Big Jim figure. I think Danny sent that to me, or you did, Sanchez. I forget. Love knockoff shit. And then we got a variety of Big Jims and so on in there. Hanging around, if you will. Lots of fun stuff. Some of the Pirates. The Pirate series are probably some of the best. And as Brian Sanchez and I have talked about it a lot, about the Pirates. Some more figures. I have some box stuff and so on. I have the ski jumps. Oh, there's this Olympic ski run. That thing is fun, man. That is 6 feet of fun. You just let them run, but I'm always afraid it's going to get busted. The Big Jim camping tent. There's a lot of knockoff camping tent sets. The same set. They just a couple extra pieces, change the colors, a little cheaper plastic, and off they go. All these that you see in the back here, these are all salesman samples. I've shown these before. You can see it's kind of burned. You like not sample, not for sale. You guys can see that. Sample, not for sale. Sorry, it's doing bad camera work. Sample, not for sale. And I was lucky enough, I got all those for like $100, which was really interesting. I don't know how that happened. These Barbie cars are the same pretty much as the Big Jim, just the girl version. A couple differences, but you can use the roll bars and stuff where these are missing. They're great because they're cheap. It's the exact same metal bar that went in the Big Jim one and so on. Of course, we also have Grizzly Adams in the back from the same kind of lines. But yeah. Okay, but there we go. So that's what we have for today. That's what we got. I thought that was some cool stuff. I've been waiting for that. I was very excited to get these. I got some new shelving projects we're going to have to do to get these guys up and where we can display them a little bit better. There's definitely going to be some changes around here, down here in the room. I need to make some changes of what's going to go where and so on. Not quite sure how I'm going to do that yet, but everything else I'll figure it out. All right, thank you guys for watching. You're welcome to like and subscribe or not. It's up to you. Brian Sanchez says, do it, don't do it. He don't give a shit. It's on Sanchez. On that, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. You guys have a great evening.